issues. So I think we're certainly we've certainly got some of those on the agenda today. But feel free to ask questions if there's anything we haven't particularly specifically covered. I think obviously we may. Oh, okay. And how to set up and administer remote workers, software, security risk, data protection. Great. Okay. Again, we will touch on those and different options for setting up remote. So thanks very much for that as well, Elijah. That's appreciated. So, okay, managed to move forward. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So in terms of our approach today, we're looking to very much to be interactive. So as I say, that I've got a few more participants have joined, but please feel free to raise questions. And as we go, we may just open up some of the discussion and sort of take any questions. So the support available. This event is part of a wider package of support around helping Humber businesses to adopt digital technologies. So we'll touch on some of those as well. So, but for now, let me hand over to James without further ado. James, I shall release the controls and back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mark, and welcome. Good afternoon. I'll be taking you through the rest of the session. And as Mark's already said, if you have some questions, then you type into the chat, or if you raise your hand, then we can deal with that. And there's also a question tool as well. So we're going to get started. We're going to do a quick poll at the start, just to get an idea of where you are currently in your view as an organisation as to what impact digital can have on your business. So that should have popped up onto your screens. If you'd like to give me your answers, that would be great. Okay, we've got all 5 there. Okay, you're going to share the results, Mark. Okay, so that's great, good start. Some of you can see it has a really positive impact even at this stage, and then one of you they can see some benefits. Hopefully, this is just one of many webinars that we are looking at doing in the Humber. Obviously, the first one is around remote working, and there'll be more to follow on. So we'll be able to pick up on that as more and hopefully show you lots more benefit that you can get out of implementing digital technologies. So to give you an idea of what we're going to be looking at today. So a brief introduction to the topic, and then we're going to look at 3 areas: people, process, and technology. These 3 aspects are vital for good implementation of remote working. And then obviously Mark will come back in at the end and talk about the support that is available to you around Digital Catalyst. As we are going, if you have questions, please do ask them. It makes it more of a session and a workshop instead of me just talking for an hour, you listening. But we will take questions at the end as well. So a bit of background to me. I've been working in digital now for well over 20 years. I'm a consultant delivering help and assistance around the application of digital technologies, whether it be CRM systems, whether it be networks, infrastructure, or looking after conversion on websites and digital marketing strategies. I've worked for many, many businesses and delivered training and carry out analysis work as well. And so that's why I'm here. Now let's get on to today's topic. This is the dream, remote working. You know, the aim of being sat anywhere in the world and being able to deliver and talk and discuss and carry on with your day job. That's what we're looking when we talk about remote working. But are we geared up for this? Okay, as a business, have you been forced and pushed into remote working, or is it something you've been doing for a while? Okay, so we're going to put another poll up on the screen. If you could just answer that, that would be really good. Okay, so did you work remotely before COVID-19? And are you working remotely now? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so we got some of you were before, and some of you are now afterwards, and we've got one that isn't working remote at the moment. Now, to give you an idea, in terms of the UK, 18.5 billion pounds to the economy due to remote working, and that was expected to soar to 74 billion by 2020. I think with the current situation, the vast majority of people are working remote, and we're all trying to make the best of it. You know, the UK as a country is well positioned in people's acceptance to flexible working. So there's some research by Merchant Savvy. Okay, people consider flexible working to be the new norm, and then businesses which are capable and they have a flexible workspace policy. So the UK itself is there. I've got another question to ask you. How geared up were you as a business to remote working? So is this something which has been difficult for you to implement, or has it been something that has been fairly easy because everything was in place beforehand? Okay, so I'm going to share those, Mark. Thank you. So obviously 1 to 10, not geared up. Some of you are right up the top and some of you are down the bottom. Okay, now you've been pushed into it. It's been sort of forced on businesses. And, you know, at the end of the day, we've had to grasp it. And some people will be extremely good at doing that. Others it will take time. But obviously it is a new way of working. There has been a major change, but it's now an opportunity. Okay, collaborate and communicate and connect. Technology and digital technology has enabled us to work better, work smarter. It helps us be more efficient and more productive if we use it correctly. Okay, and this will be down to the tools we put in place, the security we put in place to minimize the risk and the data loss. Okay, but we have to be able to collaborate. That's have our ideas, develop ideas, but do it in a remote way. We need to be able to communicate effectively, so share information with each other, to talk and to see. And the last one is we have to be able to connect. Connection and being able to get to the internet is extremely important. I'm just reading the questions blended online in like. Okay, so you know it's becoming extremely important, but we have to facilitate all three. Effective remote working, we have to be able to mimic or get as close as we can to what would happen in a face-to-face environment when we're sat in the office and we have the tools available to us. I can see Elijah's put something into the chat. You know, it's easy as far as paperwork, you are correct. It's easy to sit and talk about it, but it's difficult when we have to deliver. And I can see with your first aid instruction that there will be a problem side in the actual physical. So when you're seeing what people have done, and yeah, it will be difficult, but there'll be ways of being able to watch and see and observe and train in different ways. And it might just look different, but it is possible to do things. I do a lot of work with a university, and our whole program went online within the space of a week. So we are fully delivering all of our modules, training, interaction, and sessions to students all over the world at the moment. Okay, and we'll pick up on some of those as we go through. But you know, if we want to be effective, we've got to find ways of perhaps changing what we do or how we deliver. And I get that in some circumstances that can be very difficult. Okay, but we need to give our colleagues, our staff members access to systems, databases, telephones, the ability to meet. And we also need, more so today, to be able to get people to connect. Okay, because we've lost that face-to-face, we're in potential harm of losing the physical connection that comes with our members, our staff colleagues, to build relationships and build good working environments. Another poll for you, I'm just going to bring the chart up. These are different tools we see used in collaboration and remote working. Okay, so we've got video conferencing, we've got instant messaging. The scale across the bottom is the length of time these tools are typically used for. So minutes, hours, days, we're into video conferencing, WebEx, instant messaging. These are short-term tools for communicating. Email, a lot of us use email as a collaboration tool. We attach documents, we send them out. Okay, and then we get into the typical things we see where we're getting lots of data and information and we're storing it for long term over years to do with projects, historic information, and tools like network file stores, document management, SharePoint tools. These are long-term retrieval of information systems. So there should be another poll there, Mark. Okay, so what tools are you using currently in the business? So instant messaging, we're talking about tools like WhatsApp, Messenger, and tools like that. Okay, so we've got a really good mix there. Okay, phone, yeah, everything. So it's good that you're all delving right into using the technology to work smarter. Okay, 5 out of 6 using file storage. Okay. So we're going to have a look at some of the tips that we'd like to share with you around various aspects. I mentioned at the start we were going to look at 3 areas: people, process, and technology. You know, people are extremely important. People in terms of a business, and I'm sure most of you all know, okay, we need them to work well together. Steve Jobs, great things in business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people. So working as a team and effectively providing the tools and the environments for your staff, your people delivering courses to work together with their clients is extremely important. Okay, and remote working has a major impact on people. If we do it correct, people feel more productive. Okay, surveys have shown that workers regard themselves as more productive if they are allowed to work remotely. So it can have a very positive influence on somebody's attitude towards their job. And focus, people feel more focused if they're delivering their work, if they're working on projects in places which they are more relaxed. People become more loyal if an employer can actually provide an environment which allows for remote working and flexibility in the way people work. An employer appeal, the younger generation are taking jobs where the flexibility in the workplace is there, so they can work the way they want to work instead of the typical way the establishment might make them work. So remote working has lots of benefits. Okay, there are, however, as we're becoming more aware of it, there are challenges to remote working. We've got time issues. What is your time? What is work's time? Loneliness, space, distractions. And we're going to have a little bit of a look into some of these with some tips on how you can structure in your business to make this better. I've got a quick poll though for you, just to get a reflection on your view towards concerns. What concerns do you have about remote working? Okay, so working too much. Will you overwork? Do you easily lose focus? Put tasks off which are important? Okay. Have you got an environment where to work in that you can go to, or is it your kitchen table? Working too little. So the idea of Netflix and sunshine in the garden, is that a problem? Okay, just so you see if anybody else wants to answer. Okay, so working too much, overworking, fully get that one. We're going to look at it in a bit more detail in a second. Distraction. There's always something that distracts us away from what we're meant to be doing. The no space issue. If we look at LinkedIn and Facebook posts and people are sharing their working environment, there's a lot of talk at the moment, and I've been in quite a few conversations with business owners who rent office blocks. And they are, because we've enabled remote working, they're looking at, can we continue to work remote? In other words, do we actually need the offices we're paying for? And there is a move and a thought towards that. However, not everybody has the space they can dedicate to be able to escape from the rest of the house and then go and work. So there's a lot of things that have to be thought about before we do that. And obviously the isolation and the lack of connection for a lot of people can be a major problem. So let's move on. Thank you for sharing that. And then let's take a look at working too much. Okay, now employees, there's a fear that, you know, some people might slack off when nobody's watching them. Okay, in reality, remote workers are more likely to overwork. 3 out of 6 of you, 50%, have highlighted that in the previous poll. Okay, the idea that your work is now right next to your kitchen, or it's 10 steps from your bedroom. It's really easy just to start earlier and finish later. I know with the work I do at a university, we typically start at 9 and we finish teaching at 6:30. I have a 45-minute commute in, 45-minute commute home. So I've left at 8 o'clock and I'm getting in at 7:30, quarter to 8 every night. And it's great working remotely because I've lost the commute. But I typically start working earlier and finish later because everything is there. Things remasked on your brain, the computer's easy to access to, okay? And we're gonna have a problem. So we've got to be careful where the personal life and the work life merge into the same. It gets harder and harder to switch off. So working too much can be a major problem. Some of you may have found this already with just the last few weeks. So tips to avoid overworking: appointments, put things in your calendar. You're going to go for a walk, you're going to do something. Now, obviously, once we're out of COVID-19 and we're out of lockdown, that might be you're going to go to the gym or you're going to go and see friends, okay? So you've got a physical appointment that stops you working beyond the normal times. Set up reminders to take breaks. I'm terrible at taking breaks. I'll finish a lecture, they have a 15-minute break, I will stay, do a bit more work, and then start again, okay? Be clear to everybody you're working with when you're finishing, so they can set their diaries, they can set and plan their actions, and create boundaries. Physical boundaries, which is, okay, when I step into this room, that's work. When I step out, I'm in personal time. Okay, we have distractions. Okay, self-motivated experts at time management. Working remotely, you have to motivate yourself well in order to manage your time. Okay, it's very easy just to watch one more show during your break. Okay, do a job, tidy up, clean this, go for a walk, because you're distracting yourself from the tasks that need to be carried out. Okay, some tips for you on this. Okay, don't set yourself lots of tasks to complete in a day. Set yourself one large task and some smaller tasks to do. Okay, there are lots of tools out there which will stop you getting distracted, where it will lock down your browsers, it will stop your email working, so you have to take a break, and all of these. Okay, manage your personal energy, because it's very easy at the moment to just switch off, slow down. Okay, which means you're not managing your time. Okay, loneliness, lack of interaction. You know, we are one of the most connected people, societies, for a long time. You know, with all the social media, all the email, all the different tools, and the access to the internet. Okay, we are extremely connected. However, we're probably one of the most physically disconnected societies that has been seen. Okay, we need to be able to switch off from technology. Okay, it's very lonely sitting in your own office and talking to screens, or just working by yourself. Okay, so loneliness is going to be one of the biggest problems as organizations. And if you have responsibility for staff, you need to be making sure you have policies in place which helps you ensure your staff are feeling connected. Okay, small misunderstandings can be easily nipped in the bud with the wink of an eye or a certain tone of voice. Okay, can quickly snowball into drama. Remember, we are now trying to work with our colleagues and our clients using video and audio. Very easy to be misinterpreted. And as businesses, we've got to make sure that people are kept part of a team. So social breaks in your schedules, meeting with your colleagues online, communicating as much as possible through the week. I work in quite a close-knit team at the university in Warwick, and we interact every day inside video calls that we just start, and then we drop it in and out as we're going about various tasks on modules. Okay, so we keep the communication up a lot. Okay, once we're out of COVID, if remote working is something you are going to be doing consistently and moving forward as an organization, think about scheduling in times where you are working outside of your home. So you're going and you are physically making plans to work with people around you. So you keep the isolation and the issues that brings are lowered. Make plans after work to see friends. Flexibility in your schedules. Okay, regularly setting up meetings to make people that work remote from you feel included. Okay, these are things we're seeing a lot that is happening. Okay, so just seeing people and talking to people, I'm surprised. You know, I've been remote working with the students for the last 6 weeks. We see them very rarely because they don't turn their cameras on. Very often they will talk to us. And I've done a few of these online quizzes, and just seeing my friends who I'm not seeing, it actually raises your energy. Okay, so just think about how can we as a team use a technology to bond the team together. Priority. Okay, I've got a video I'm just going to show you, and this video sort of sums up. Now, you're working in teams, you're working with other people, and I'm sure we possibly taken part with things in the past which are Bell bins or Myers-Briggs, where we're looking at people's personalities and how they work well in teams. And we need to, even more so now, start to understand, okay, because if you're running a business or you're running a team, you've got to manage these interactions. You've got to manage the different styles of people and how they interact in an online environment, because your job is to stimulate and get the team to work effectively. Okay, so I'm just going to play this video and it will highlight some of the team issues. Hopefully the audio plays. If it doesn't, can you please put it in the chat?
Hey, I was on this date the other night, and we were at this restaurant.
All right, guys, you guys ready to get started?
Hang on a second.
Trip, you ready to get started, buddy?
Okay. Hey, you guys, we're all here. We should start.
All right, thanks for coming, guys. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about some ideas for the marketing strategy this year. So if you got one, just throw it out there. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, how long is this meeting supposed to last? The schedule wasn't exactly clear.
Should be out of here in 30.
Is that approximate or?
Hey, guys. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I got caught in traffic.
7 minutes, actually.
What's that?
Couple is 2.
So what we're doing is we're just coming up with some ideas for our new marketing strategy.
Sure.
So, anyone?
I think we should implement Pinterest.
Ooh, that's a fun idea.
What about a publicity event in the park?
Interesting. But how are you going to plan around the weather? What if it rains?
So we'll party in the rain.
Okay, just want to emphasize there's no bad ideas here. We're just brainstorming. So.
Yeah, I'm just really thinking it'll be a huge waste of money to try to plan around the weather.
Yeah, okay, we get your concerns. Nancy, thank you.
Okay, anyone else have an idea? Ephraim?
I've always wanted to see rain fall down all at once in a big splash instead of small drops over time. I mean, think how it could impact the irrigation system.
Okay. Terry?
Well, I have an idea from my previous job that I had last year. Let me take that back a little bit. I have this wonderful idea, but it doesn't really make sense unless I just take it back a second and bring it forward together. It was like 3 weeks ago that I remember he said something that I couldn't understand.
Hold on a second, Terry. Hold on. Thanks for pointing. Here's what we need to do, okay? Lauren, you got this? We do a video submission contest on YouTube.
Oh, that's been done.
It'll be on Facebook, it'll be on Pinterest, it'll be on Twitter.
If we do something with technology, we lose the senior demographic.
So, you guys want to see an example?
Should we be moving on to the next topic? I mean, it's already quarter after.
Quarter after. That's funny.
Who knows how to put this on the screen? Up there, because you're not going to be able to, I want you to see all the details. We have a cable. Does this cable work?
I think that's power.
I don't know if on the there's an
This one.
HDMI
That cord's not going to be long
in
enough.
the back.
Does that
there
remote
could be
go to
like
the
2 or 3,
TV?
like HDMI 1.
Plenty of time,
HDMI
guys.
2,
No rush.
HDMI
This isn't
3,
working.
I got a green
and they
marker.
coincide
Call the
with
IT
each
guy.
other with,
Wait,
there's
turn
also,
what off and back
what
on?
do you call it? S-video.
Hello?
Okay, I've got it working.
Hit play. Okay, now imagine hundreds of those floating around the web. Actually, do you want to watch it one more time?
No, please.
Trip, I think you're onto something with this idea. I really like it. Carol, did you get that down?
Yep, got it.
Sorry, what is C-test up sub YT pros?
Well, I'm abbreviating to make room for all these great ideas. Contest, uploading it to YouTube, funniest, and you get a prize.
Wait, where are the other ideas?
And time.
Wait, where y'all going? We still have 100% of the things to accomplish. One of the biggest.
Okay, so a video that just brings together the different types of personalities that we're pretty sure we can recognize some of those in relation to people we're working with or we're engaging with as clients. And face to face, it's hard to manage. If we think back to one of the previous slides I showed, talking about the little look and the little wink, it can then soon come into a big problem because people aren't in that physical environment. And we've got to learn to manage these. We've got to learn to mold people and get people working together, but doing it via a screen. Now, there are benefits to remote working and there are issues. All of the issues can be addressed if we put steps in place. Now, despite the challenges in remote working, with 77% of people that regularly work from home in a survey have said that it has improved their overall health and well-being. And this is going back to the benefits. People are more relaxed, people are less stressed, they're doing work in their time, they're in a place where they're comfortable doing work, where they can think, and they're relaxed. Okay, so we have lots of benefits, and as businesses, we need to know how do we handle the issues. And people are the success of your organizations. If we can get the people infused, if we can keep the people on board, we can get their ideas, we can make them feel loyal and part of the organization and the team. Okay, and we can use technology to do that. The second area is process. So people, process, and then we're going to finish with technology. Process is about looking at how you do things, okay? So the control aspects, defining the goals of the organization and making sure people can see how the projects we're doing and the technologies we're using to join, how they align to the business goals. We need to identify stakeholders, process. We need to understand how we're going to measure effectiveness. None of this goes away because we've switched from face-to-face to the online world. If anything, the control aspect becomes even more important. We need to be training employees still. We need to be helping them understand how the tools work and why we're going to meet together once a week in an online environment just to talk and just to chat and see how people are. What is the benefit of that to the business? We need to be able to communicate this. There's risks around sharing content. So earlier in the chat, there was some questions about security, okay? And making sure people are talking about, not talking about certain projects in chats online through video. And this is down to policy, clear ways of working, okay? Clear information flows, making sure that you are communicating. Trello, which is an online project management tool, they are very active at making sure they communicate what's happening in the business to all of their staff, because a lot of their staff work remotely, definitely on the marketing side, which means one of the biggest issues in businesses we see if we go and talk to people is we don't know what's happening. And that's in a face-to-face environment. So we need to be even more conscious of it now that our workforce is remote and we don't know how long that's going to last. Okay, so we need to have clear policies on how we're going to work. And we also need to understand crisis management. If something goes wrong, what are we going to do? So I've got another poll for you that will just ask, what processes have you put in place to manage remote working? So have you got something around how you're going to train staff to use the tools? Have you done guidelines for how your meetings should be operated? What's expected of people? Have you got content topic guidelines that can be discussed in online meetings? Okay. Crisis management, reputation management would fall into that. Have you got policies on monitoring the health and well-being of your staff? Flexible working. And then remuneration, okay? If people had to purchase equipment, are people using more energy at home? Did you provide food in the office before and now they're at home and they're not eating your food? All of these are things we have to think about. And this is your control. This is the process side. Okay, I think that's everybody answered there. Mark, you want to share that? Okay, so obviously flexible hours. Good to see that you've all got policies in place for flexible hours. The remuneration, some thinking, crisis management, yeah. Meeting guidelines, what you do and don't do on meetings, very good. Staff training. Okay, so we've got a mixture of various different bits in there from that list. If there's some areas there that caught your attention and you need assistance, okay, you know, how do you crisis management and reputational management and monitoring and creating policies for that, especially in an online world and social media? That's probably something that can be helped through the Humber project. Okay, let's move on. So meetings, do's and don'ts. We're all taking part in lots of online meetings at the moment. We're probably doing more meetings online than face-to-face, which can be a bad thing, because when are we meant to do the work? But things we should be doing. Dress as if you were going to meet your colleagues or your client. Dress suitably for that type of interaction. You know, the idea of, yes, I can do an online meeting. One of the students, we asked a question the other week, the benefits of the digital workplace and delivering through online channels. And her answer was, it means I only need to get out of bed 1 minute before the lecture. Okay, and that was their view. Now, obviously, a bad idea, but you know, dress as if you were going to go to the meeting. Use your camera, try and look at that, not the screen. Cameras at eye level. So we're looking into the camera instead of the camera looking up at us or down at us. Backgrounds, what's behind you? Is it messy? A lot of the tools today, so Zoom and Microsoft Teams, allow us to fade our background or replace the background that is on the video. Make sure there's lots of natural light. Make sure you are planned, so you know what slides coming next, you know what you're going to say. Try and remove and reduce the distractions around you. So people not coming into shot, people behind you, all of this. Okay, have an agenda so people know what we're going to follow. They can see what's happening, what to expect before you start. Mark did that. He asked an idea of what you were looking for today. Keep the slides simple, change the tempo of your voice, all standard things we would tell you if we were coaching you how to present or how to hold a meeting, all things we would. In an online environment, we have got all of this again, and even more so because we're trying to communicate through a screen. We can't use our hands, we can't scribble on a piece of paper easily to show you something. We have to communicate through what we see on the screen. Make sure you understand the technology, and obviously microphones on computers are great, but if your fan is very loud, that can be a major distraction in a meeting to everybody else who's listening. So external microphones, because it improves the quality of what's being sent. Things not to do: don't sit in front of windows because people can't see you. Don't attempt to work on other things because people can see that your eyes are diverted away from the screen. Don't keep the same tone. Make sure your family, pets or members don't wander into view. We all pretty sure remember, and it's doing the rounds again, the guy who was brought in as an expert, I believe, on Hong Kong, and his kid came into the room behind him, and then his wife appears trying to stay under the camera. Okay. It is funny to everybody watching, but very embarrassing for the person who is on screen. Asking questions as we go. I can see you've lining up some really good questions and points in the chat, which we'll come to at the end. Try not to get distracted, be on time, and also don't be unprepared. Step through your presentation, step through the meeting, know what you want to convey. So you start meetings, you start your online presence with what am I hoping to achieve at the end of this, and set the whole flow up to meet that. Okay, so that's people and process. And then we come on to the last area, which is technology. So this is going to look more at how do we actually enable remote working from a technology perspective. So remote working, things you need to be asking yourself as a business where are files stored? Do you have localized systems in your business? How are you going to handle phone calls? How does the phone system work where you work? How good is the broadband system? Who needs access to the systems? So this is, you know, from a security perspective. And do you actually manage your own IT? Because there can be major issues trying to get software running on systems where you need admin privileges to install. And we've had this with the university. All my colleagues can't install software on their laptops, but we need the software to effectively run online lectures. Okay, and when these are questions you need to ask, because it helps you understand your options for implementing remote working. Now, we talked earlier about connection speed. Connection is extremely important because it limits the quality of collaboration. Now, I'm just going to share in my web browser. Give me a second. And let me put this in. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to go to the following URL. Can you see my web browser? Yes, would be good. Mark, can you hear me?
Sorry, I was muted, James. Yes, I can see it clearly. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
I would like you to go to the website speedtest.net and it should come up with this. And I would like you to just hit go. And then this will give us an idea as to how well your broadband will last for remote working. So the quality of the connection. Mine is running a bit slow today, isn't it, Mark?
It's just showing off, James.
I'm on a Virgin fiber, so and I'm cabled all the way to my router. Hence why my speeds are very good. If you like to just in the chat put your speeds, if you put the download first and the upload second, that would be quite useful. So I'm 150 and 36. Which my download speed is a bit slow today. Ah, okay. Firewall. Oh, it's speedtest.net. SPEEDTEST.net. I'll just type it in the chat so you've got that, Sam. $69 down, $25 up. That's very good, David. No issues with remote working there. No, broadband speeds in the UK are getting so much better. BT apparently have got a new product that's been coming to market. It still won't be up there with the Virgin fiber, but they are all up in their speeds. BT can get 80 meg, I believe I was on when I was on a BT line. And obviously with the 4G and 5G systems coming in, and we're soon going to be in a position where we can 29, 28, yeah. 29 versus 20, very slow today, usually 100 plus. Virgin had been poor recently. Yes, Virgin, I lost all of my connection the other week, Simon. 49 and 49. I think we're all going to come and work where you do, Elijah. Okay, because that is extremely good. And then Mark, just to finish up at 7.5 and 4.76. And he lives in the middle of nowhere. But this is what controls the quality of our connection. Okay. If we have poor up speeds, that's the pushing the information out. Okay, the download is bringing it in, and that can have an impact on the types of technologies we use. So we're going to have a expand out on some of these around collaborate and communicate and look at some of the tools. Okay, Elijah's has a gigabit connection. Very nice. Okay, so connecting to the office. Okay, I'm just going to drop back there. There's another poll here. On where do you store your files? Are they on a server, a cloud, or a desktop? So I think Mark's going to fire that in. Okay, so where do you currently store the files that your business uses? Are they on a server in your office? Are they on a cloud hosted solution? Or are they stored on your laptop? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mark. You want to end that? Share the results. Okay, so we've got a mixture. We've got one person using a local server. We've got 2 using cloud and 2 using desktop. One of the things to just highlight here is this very simple fix. If your files are stored on your desktop, my question to you would be, how are you backing them up? Where do they go? Have you got a copy? If there was an issue with your machine, would you lose vital data? So the easiest and simplest thing to implement there is to set up a Google Drive or a OneDrive with Microsoft, and that would give you the ability to have files on your computer, but they are synchronized to a cloud-based server. We'll cover this in shortly, but I'm just want to pick up on that particular poll. Okay, so options for connecting and working remote. Okay, so the aim is, and some of you will have this in place now, some of you will be moving around this. Okay, so options, your house, into the cloud, into the office. We're going backwards and forwards, and we are doing it securely. Okay, now there are various different ways of setting up remote access to our offices, and we have 2 main options. Okay, we can use remote desktop, which is a application that sits in the Windows suite of tools. There's also a client for Mac OS, and it's very easy. Most Windows machines and servers enable remote desktop. And then we have a range of tools which provide the same service as remote desktop, but they're doing it using a third-party tool. So go to my PC, TeamViewer, log me in. These are all secure, industry, robust tools. Remote desktop, okay, will allow connection even from a Mac to any Windows-based machine, and it's free. These are all paid for. You will find they give some free level of service, but obviously for business, you know, you want something that's robust and comes with a SLA, service level agreement. These tools will give you access into Mac, Windows machines based, Mac's machines based in your office. Okay, so I've got another poll for you. How do you connect if you are connecting to your office? Are you using remote access solutions? Have you got a VPN connection, which we're going to come on to, or you're not doing anything? Okay, thank you, Mark. Okay, so we've got a mixture. Some of you are using VPN, some of you are using remote access, and then we've got one of you not doing either. Now, I'm just going to move that away. Okay, so we're just going to go a bit more in these from a technical perspective, but not too technical, don't worry. Okay, remote access solutions. Remote access solution removes the need to operate a VPN. So VPN is a virtual private network, and we'll look at more of how that works on the next slide. Okay, and it's a piece of software that is loaded onto a machine in the office that you then connect to. Remote desktop, exactly the same. We connect from a client into a machine in the office. Now, the remote access solutions like Log Me In or Go to My PC, they handle the security aspect. So they handle making sure that from your remote machine into your office, the transfer of information across the connection is secure. If you're using remote desktop as your remote access solution, that should always be used from a best practice perspective with a VPN connection. Okay? The beauty of remote access solutions are all processing is done at the office, which means your remote computer does not have to be that powerful because you're just sharing screens between your home and the office. A very, very easy to set up solution for getting remote access quickly. Okay, delivered through third-party tools like Log Me In, etc. Now, VPNs give us a physical connection into a public, into your office. Okay, so here we have you at home on your local network connected to your router provided by Virgin or BT or somebody else. This is your office server or a computer in your office that has a database on it you need access to. You go through the public network and you create a secure channel across the internet into the office, allowing you to sit and open databases from your client machine that are running on the servers inside your office. Okay, and that is what a VPN does. They are typically set up using hardware. So this is something we add to the network. Okay, Windows and Mac have VPN clients built in, as do iPhones, do Samsung phones, iPad, etc. We can make VPN connections on those into a piece of hardware sat on our network, or we can buy additional tools, NordVPN, Viper, Cisco AnyConnect, and these will have high levels of security in them. I run Viper VPN on my iPhone, and when I have it activated, as soon as I go on the internet, it will automatically start up the VPN connection for me, and it then protects all of my data, whether that's sending email, whether that's looking at a website, into the internet. Okay, so very, very useful tools. They add security. Now, do we do VPN or do we do remote desktop? This really comes down to what you are trying to gain access to. Remote desktop solutions are very quick to install. All processing is carried out at the remote computer you are connecting to. If you're going down a VPN solution using Microsoft's remote desktop, I would always recommend a VPN connection to run it across. VPN connections, this is where your up and down speed starts to play, because VPN connects us to the network. And if your upload speed is slow or your download speed is slow, that is going to have a direct impact on the speed of your interaction. everything is processed now where you are sat. So if I open a file on the server in the office over a VPN connection, it physically has to be moved to my machine. So those of you who are using VPN, if you're opening a client, that's a database client, it has to talk to the server in the office and bring your report data back to your client, okay? And the speed of your connection will have an impact on how fast that data gets brought back to you. If you have a very fast connection and database tools work very slowly, it's probably something that needs to be investigated with the structure and optimization of the database tools you are using. So if I need to, say, if I have a software that queries databases and you're using local clients on your laptops or your home computers, then VPN, your connection speed is going to have a problem. If we remote desktop, we're just accessing a machine that sits in the office and we're running everything there. Okay, and all we're doing is sharing back the screen. VPNs are very secure. Okay, so, you know, both have their pros and cons, and it would be an investigation as to what type of tools and software you are using in order to warrant, do you go with a remote desktop solution or do you go with a VPN connection? So that would be a piece of work that could be carried out within the program. Okay, so that's option one. You can remotely connect to the office. Option two is migrating to the cloud. So moving all of our information, all of our systems such as CRM, etc., outside of the business and placing them in a cloud-based environment. Cloud computing, we have infrastructure, platform, and software. The vast majority of us sit in the SaaS area. The company provides the whole environment. We just come in and we make use of the tools they give us. So another quick poll for you. You want to fire that in? So some cloud-based tools. Which ones are you using, if any, for cloud file storage? Okay, all right, thank you. So most of us on Office 365, a very good solution. Comes inside of your Office licenses, lots of space, very good cloud-based environment. Use all of them. I tend to use all of them as well, and I've also got an Apple cloud storage box to go alongside, just in case I didn't have enough space for all of the data I've got. Okay, so benefits of cloud. Pay per user. You can ramp up, it scales, cloud solutions scale with your organization. You pay for what you need, and then you stop paying when you don't need the licenses. Accessible from any location. Okay, so being able to get access to your files, getting access to your CRM system, your finances from anywhere, from multiple devices, tablets, phones, computers, laptops. Cloud is good in that the tools are updated automatically and patched automatically by the providers. There is a level of personalization and customization that can be carried out dependent on what you do. It grows with the business, it's quick to deploy. A lot of cloud tools have a very low cost of entry. So it's a good way of getting started. And one of the benefits of moving information to the cloud is the technical requirements on the organization is lowered, because no longer are you having to maintain an Outlook Exchange server. you're paying for it with Office 365. Okay, so all of this starts to add a benefit, even though you are paying monthly for access to the software. Now, issues we have with cloud control. There will be some things you can change, some things you can't, because you are in an environment which is provided for you. There are some security concerns, and this is things you need to check with the providers you move to in terms of what security is in place. You will see now that the vast majority of tools are putting in two-factor authentication. So I had to log in to make some changes to the polls this morning, and I had to contact Sadia to get the code to enter so I could access, because it didn't recognize my machine as being somewhere that usually connects. Okay, data storage location. Where is the data stored that you're placing in the cloud tool? In other words, which country, where are the servers they're distributing the content to? Some industries require data, definitely in finance. Financial data needs to be loaded on EU, and as you get into more depth, on UK-based servers. These are questions you need to ask if cloud is an option. If you don't have connection, you can't access. Now, if that's from your office, great. You then just go home and fire up your internet straight in, and that's a benefit. But if you haven't got connection, or the cloud provider goes offline, that's bad, because that's your business. So this comes down to choosing cloud providers that have good performance, good uptime. Integration of systems, you need to understand what tools talk to each other. Now, the major cloud providers have started to work very well at integrating systems. So Microsoft Teams has a lot of systems that integrate to its collaboration tool, as does Zoom, as does RingCentral. Data migration, do you migrate all of your data, or you just migrate parts of your data? And the last one on there, on the previous slide, we said it has a low cost of entry. You also need to factor in the high cost of ownership, because it's a monthly fee that if I have one person, it's great. If I have 5 people, my monthly fee, unless they're doing offers, is multiplied by 5. But that's every single month whilst I use the tool. So these are things to look at when you're planning. What are we going to do? How are we going to mitigate if we have this situation again in the future where governments shut down businesses and we can't physically go to our workplace? How are we going to mitigate and set ourselves up to be in an environment where we can continue to work effectively, efficiently as an organization with our clients and as a business with each other? Okay, so if we're looking at cloud, we have various options. I'm just going to throw another poll in to see what types of tools you are using currently today. Now, there are 2 questions on this. Okay, so if you like to tick so we can get an idea of what type of cloud tools you're currently using, if any. Okay. Yeah, you can close that one, Mark. Thanks. And share. Okay, so obviously good. Some of you are using CRM, web-based accounting, brilliant, wonderful tool. I've switched all my accounts to web-based and my accountant loves it. Video conferencing, obviously we're all using this now. HR mode, social media, and then these are some of the more technical type things around AI and machine learning. Thank you for that. Okay, so we have file storage. So these are recognized file storage tools. These are robust business level ones, but we're into, do we migrate everything or just specific files? So if we're thinking, how do we protect for the future? It's what needs to go there now. And then do we move more things across later? Obviously, if you are in a cloud-based environment, think about backup. Check that the customer, the tool you are using actually does include backup. Because some people are finding out that what they've paid for, there's an assumption that the cloud environment is backed up and it isn't. So that definitely is worth checking if you are using OneDrive. Valve versioning and mobile platform access are all useful things to start looking at. We've got cloud systems. Most of you who responded are using cloud-based finance. We have the ability now to create documents and share documents and collaborate on documents inside the cloud system. So Google Docs, Apple have a full online editor for all of their tools. We've also then got communication tools. So how we're going to talk internally and externally with clients on messaging. Now this area, we have to make sure if internally as a business, we are using the same platform. So whether it be WhatsApp or FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or Microsoft Teams to do this, we have to use the same tool. Obviously, as you start going out now and working with your clients, they may have a tool in place. So you may find you are using multiple tools in order to work. Okay, they give us chat. We have presence. We can see if people are online, and the vast majority of them are bringing audio and video in. But that's just to communicate and talk. If we look at collaboration tools, okay, so this is more of an embedded environment where we can do screen shares, we can swap control, we can present, we can hold webinars, okay. We're using Ring Central, which is subscription based, and it's wrapped around the underlying technology is Zoom. WebEx has been around for years. They offer a free platform, up to 100 participants and 40-minute calls. Microsoft Teams, again, a growing product, and obviously Zoom, which we have all heard of. Zoom have sort of been propelled into the collaboration environment in a very, very quick time. And obviously that has highlighted many issues with the Zoom platform, which are all being addressed by Zoom. So you will be aware of they had issues around the security of the connection. If you followed the news, they were routing calls through China as well, which was another problem they had. And their latest one is all around Zoom bombing. So running your meetings online and not putting waiting rooms in place, not changing your passwords, and people just randomly appearing inside your conference call. So there are issues, but Zoom are addressing that. And there is best practice on how to hold Zoom calls, as I would say you should be putting them in for Microsoft Teams, for WebEx, and also for Ring Central. We can't forget project management, even more so, and task management and task allocation. These become even more important in terms of managing what is happening in the business. There are various tools for this. I use Trello a lot, mainly because it is simple and it is easy. And there's a good free level account on Trello. As we get more complex, so if you're interested in Gantt charts and resource planning and tying all that together, you're probably better looking at tools like Jira, Asana, or Basecamp. These are more robust project management systems. But Trello, just to keep track of tasks and allocating them out and getting people to update on progress, Trello is a really good tool to start with. We can provide desktops to our users, so do away with office computers where people just come, they have a very low powerful machine that is quite dumb, and they just literally connect into a remote desktop and work. Exactly the same as we're doing here now. Complete solutions can be Windows, Mac, Linux based, obviously VMware, Microsoft Azure. So most of the Office 365 and Windows 10 environments online, Microsoft Azure is doing a lot of those. Amazon obviously work quite well in this workspace with their distributed systems, and Citrix has been around for many, many years. Okay, quick and easy to roll out, and you just need some way of connecting into them and then starting up your system, and everybody has access to applications and files, but we're just running it remotely in the cloud. If you're looking at this, local delivery, locate a delivery partner. Somebody who does this, they understand how it works, and they will support and manage the provision of the desktops to your business. Okay, and I'm just going to finish there for one more video before I hand back to Mark. Okay, I'm sure you'll all recognize some of this as we go through it. Okay, technology may be a problem in this new way of working.
Trip Crosby
has joined the meeting.
Beth?
Has joined the meeting.
Hello?
Tyler?
No, this is Beth from ICS.
Oh, hey, Beth. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah. Just making it, you know.
Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
All right, well, this is Trip. Who's here?
Tyler's here.
Beth's here.
Okay, the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the...
Yeah, I'll be able to do it in like 30 minutes. John?
Has joined the meeting.
Hi, John.
Hi.
I was just trying to go over the purpose of today's meeting, which is to discuss the Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
Sorry, guys, I got cut off. Is Paul here? Send him the invite.
Put in your access code.
No, that's your PIN number.
It should be a 9-digit number.
Try pressing the pound key.
Paul.
Has joined the meeting.
Any questions before we move on?
Yes, this is Beth. What's our best plan of attack for the second quarter?
Question
What
actually...
we should do...
Oh,
go ahead. Oh, I think what we should do is
it actually
really
depends on
diversify.
how you look at it, because
and really
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Given sales, we're at a...
Let me just say that...
Okay.
That's a great graph, John. Tyler?
Well, my main concern with the projections from last year was that they're just insufficient. I mean, they're not even taking into account.
Did we lose Tyler again?
Hello?
John, are you guys taking distributions? John?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. Let me start over.
So I've prepared a presentation. I'm sharing it with all of you. You should be able to see it on your screen right now.
Got it.
I don't see a link anywhere.
It says I need to download a plugin.
We are all using Macs, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
How can you? Of course.
Financials are looking great. Paul, do you have any comments on staffing?
I was thinking about that because we get a few more contractor types in. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Rex, get down!
I don't know. I feel like when I look at the numbers last quarter, that you couldn't really tell a huge difference. So if we were to really tighten that up, then I think...
To me, staffing is a huge impact.
Is that?
Is that me?
It's not me, I don't think.
I just want to go over a couple of details as we move into our next section here. We got 3 new departments coming on board.
I'm breaking up a little bit, guys.
By the end of Q3.
Driving to a
So
dead
I need
spot.
everyone to give me detailed evaluations each
Sorry,
month
guys.
so that we know. That's it, guys. Beth, you'll send out a recap email that could have basically taken the place of this whole meeting, correct?
Yep, always do.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Beth.
Dave, you been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, thanks everyone once again. Oh, one more
Okay, I'm pretty sure we can all recognise some of those situations, and it goes back to the process side, setting up and making sure that there are ways of how you're going to run meetings, so people not try and talk across each other, muting mics, all of this to make that experience good. Now that's me finished for now. I will be around for questions at the end. And I'm going to pass control to Mark, who will take you through the last part. Here you are, Mark. It's all yours.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, James. Remember to unmute myself after watching that video. So, yeah, no, big thanks for the various insights through the presentation. We're still very happy to take questions and sort of feedback after a few slides, just to take you through the other ICT for growth support that's that we currently have available. So it's I'll move this forward. Okay, so there's 3 main elements really to share with you. The first one is a series of webinars such as the one today on a variety of different topics, and there's a schedule. There'll be one running weekly from here and in. The Growth Hub sharing information, and obviously it'd be great to see you at on these different webinars on different topics. There's also, secondly, an ICT for Growth grant, which I understand has been pretty popular. I'll share a bit more information with you about that. And then finally, Digital Catalyst Assistance, which is something else we're involved in, offering more of a one-to-one bespoke support service to yourselves as businesses, using through a team of ICT specialists that we have available. So briefly, in terms of the grants, actually, sorry, just before we do that, just want to launch another poll. We mentioned the webinars. This is I say the first main topic we've covered, but we have others in the pipeline. Just really appreciate if you could just take a moment just to vote for your top 3 topics, or up to 3 topics you would like to see us cover. Clearly, we'd like to be providing events that everybody wants. So if you could just take a moment to do that, and then to submit your choices, as I say, that will help inform what we do going forward. I'll just give you a moment or two just to answer those. Okay. Okay, I think we've got 4 out of 5. There's one more to come. Otherwise, I'll end the poll and share. Okay, so just sharing the results. So quite a variety, but clearly the top one there, diversifying your offer to adapt to current circumstances and demands. We've also got a couple there, again, not surprisingly, business survival through crisis, then attracting new customers and retaining old ones. I think clearly there's a variety of topics there which look at both dealing with the current COVID situation, but also thinking about what happens next. How we're going to recover and start to thrive coming out of this situation. So we'll look to provide a variety of different topics, looking, as I say, looking at managing today, but also going forward. So thank you for that. That will really help in terms of informing what we do next. So going back to the grant. So there is these have been available for a while, but the main thing that Kingston Hull Council and have changed, and this covers the whole of the Humber area, by the way, is the process to try and make it a lot quicker, given the current circumstances we're in. So the grants, as you can see there, covers hardware, so obviously computers, servers, and so on, software, and infrastructure. So if you were looking to look to take your infrastructure onto the cloud, then these grants can make a contribution towards that. The project values, the overall value of the spend, needs to be between 2,500 and the very precise 24,999 that you'll see there. But grants are available for 40% of the cost. So very simple example there. If okay, Simon, I'll pick that up. I've seen your point. I'll pick that up at the end if that's okay. It should be 40%. So a simple example there, £1,000 of an overall £2,500 costs. Grants payments are made in arrears, and invoice and proof of payment, not surprisingly, are required. But there is I understand the application process has been sped up to be within 2 weeks. Now, Simon, we'll just take a look at what you've mentioned there. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. so both of us have perhaps been a little bit misinformed there. Okay, as I say, I was led to believe it was a little quicker than that. So we will feed that back to the client. I think, as you're suggesting, Simon, there has been quite a big demand for this. Not surprisingly as well, as we've all looked to, or many have moved, say all, but many have moved to remote systems and wanting to ensure they've got the correct security in place, of course, as well. But as I say, we will feed that back. So contact details for the grants, Simon, you'll be aware of this already, of course, but the telephone number and thanks for the feedback. Yeah, I think they have had a hell of a lot of applications. Anyway, for those that haven't applied, there's a telephone number and a web link available to put an application through. So in terms of digital catalyst, then there really is no hard and fast rule as to what sort of digital technology project we would support. It really is down to what is important to you as a business and what can have the greatest impact. I'm throwing some examples up just to give you a flavour of what's available. So the first one there is moving your operations onto the cloud, fairly obvious one in current circumstances. Secondly, consolidating technical infrastructure into one place. So looking at what's available to make it more efficient, better to deliver what you want, maybe even to save some costs. Tools and applications to increase productivity. We touched on one again, quite popular, commonly used one that would be accounting software online, which I think has been a revelation for many, certainly for us as a business. Gives a lot more flexibility. E-commerce, so introducing different elements of selling online again might be interesting for those that haven't dipped the toe into the water in the past, particularly with current circumstances. Cybersecurity is a very popular one, making sure data is safe, systems are safe, and so on. Online accounting, which we mentioned, and CRM. But as I say, it's far from an exhaustive list. So we can certainly look at other areas, and just picking up on some of the topics for events that people are interested in. Actually, sort of looking at ways to help diversify and to move forward post COVID will clearly be of interest as well. So there is a real variety of different areas where technology can help and we can make available. And as I say, that's through our specialist team of technical advisors. So this is, as I say, we look at each situation on its merits, identifying which technologies could most add value. Looking at what could offer best value for money in your circumstances and the highest return on investment, not just now, but looking well into the future as well. And trying to look into, what are the knock-on effects of changes that are made. So if we introduce a new application or a new technology, how will that impact the rest of the of your infrastructure and the tools that you use. Of course, identifying how different technologies can integrate with those systems and processes, and how to implement and manage technology on an ongoing basis. So looking at putting processes in place to help keep you safe, but also to future-proof your infrastructure going forward. I think some of the reasons to get involved, hopefully not that these the font size isn't too tiny. We really do have some great people involved. James is actually one of the team, one of the technical specialists, and they really can help you get to the right answer quickly. There's no cost for using their services, and they have no agenda, so they're not tied to any technologies or technology providers. So you really can tap into some excellent knowledge to help you move your business forward. Our aim is about having impact. So, we really do want you to help improve your competitiveness going into the future, particularly at such a challenging time that we're in. And being competitive means those things really: being more agile and flexible, being able to operate remotely, maintaining your customer presence, brand engagement, understanding transferable skills in harness to new market opportunities. So looking at new business opportunities, keeping your staff, of course, and operating more efficiently. And again, that's far from an exhaustive list either. So the contact details through our team is the telephone numbers there, 1482 686 700, and the email address is digitalcatalyst@winningmoves.com. We also have a page on the Grow My SME website. But as I say, whilst that seeks to give some specific examples, please think of this offer as as very flexible. We're just keen to meet what your specific requirements are. And in terms of the sort of formal slides, that sort of takes us to the end. But we're very happy to James and I are very happy to take some questions. So please feel. I think you're able to unmute and ask, or feel free to type if you prefer. Let me hand back the.
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, okay. Actually, and whilst the we're just waiting, there's we'll just share a couple of final polls while you're raising questions. So this one is having given the sort of discussions we've had today, what impact do you think technology, what digital can have on your business? So again, if you wouldn't mind, just give me a quick straw poll on that. It's wonderful. Got 3 out of 4. Okay, and share that. Lots of positive impact. I think that's absolutely true, and perhaps more true even than than ever really. And just leave one final. Let me share the results there. Sorry, that was what you fed back. And let me just share one final poll. If we can ask you just for a little bit of feedback in terms of how you found the session. I'll leave that up whilst you're thinking of any questions you'd like to raise with us. Okay, you can see Sam. Thank you very much for your feedback there. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. That's really good. Okay, I'll just leave the poll up for a few moments. So please feel free, and happy to take any questions.
Simon, you posted something earlier on about delivering face-to-face training. The interaction is what keeps people coming back. Not sure what technology will keep that interaction online. We've seen this through the university courses. We're very interactive face-to-face with the students, and obviously moving to the online environment, we've had to try and maintain that, should we say. And one thing what we've done is we make sure we break a lot more often, and we're posing questions to the students and making them think a lot more. So we're actually stimulating interaction through the delivery. And we found it works, and we're finding that the students actually react. They actually interact better if we give them the opportunity to go and think, but we're there behind them, sort of pushing them and prompting them with questions. But it is, you know, face to face, it's hard for us as lecturers in that circumstance to deliver, because we're used to looking at the faces to get the feedback. So I would say, if you're doing anything online, you've really got to be, okay, video. If you can get the people to put their video on and get them, encourage them to actually ask questions as you go live, like they would if they were standing in front of you. But yeah, it is difficult to get the interaction, but I think it's just a different way. We have to think differently about how we deliver, and find novel and interesting ways of delivering our content, but doing it in a slightly different manner. I don't know if that helps at all. Are there any questions? Feel free to unmute your mics.
I can probably unmute people, actually. Just going through. No, I can't.
Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can unmute. Well, it says I can.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It has done it, I think.
Yeah.
It asked me. Oh, yeah, I'm working.
Yeah.
Can hear you, Sam.
Yeah, didn't have any questions. I was just wasn't sure whether it was working. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the session, thank you. Yes, that's it, yeah. Took advantage. But yeah, really interesting session, thanks. Got a lot to have a look over. And,
yep.
Will the presentation we'll be able to access it afterwards?
Yes, we will. I think for the majority, the Growth Hub will sort of publish it through the through the website, so we can certainly send you a link to it, so you can have a look back over it. Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Obviously, if it's put lots of questions in your mind, Sam, that's good from our perspective. But also, obviously, there's things you're thinking about. So look at how the program can help.
Yes.
Because it's free access to experts with a wide-ranging skill set around digital. So some of the guys on there, they're very good at the innovation, diversification of product, and looking for opportunities of where that can go. So the Adenic team, Mark, I'm thinking.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
If it's around the digital and customer retention and the marketing strategies to do that, then obviously I fit quite well there, as well as the technical side. So, you know, the Winning Moves and Humber put together a strong team. So if you've got things in your head that you're now starting to think, okay, perhaps we should be doing things differently, then definitely engage with the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
It is something we can do remotely as well. Of course, I suppose one of the beauties, isn't it, of technology is that we can continue to help, even if we can't, sadly, sort of meet with you face to face at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay.
It's lovely. Well, thank you. Thanks, Sam, for obviously for your questions and feedback and contributions, and also to I think David and Mark are still on as well. Thank you too for joining us, and obviously from my perspective, just big thanks to James for an excellent presentation. Very interesting. As always, learn a lot from listening to you, and really appreciate that. So, thank you everybody for your time, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Right. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.